Hey guys, Matt, Iron Trap Garage. Today we're working on the Forgotten 39 hot rod project. So I remembered I worked on the dash last time, getting some of the gauges and all that stuff laid out. I was waiting for some parts to come in. So what I decided to do with the car, since I wanted to retain the original distributor that has the tach drive in, and I thought that was really cool, and it worked with the old factory, or not factory, but old school mechanical tach that we have in the car. And it also just make it easier and less money if we just throw a Petronix setup in it. So I went ahead and ordered a Petronix conversion kit for the stock distributor. So today we're going to work on number one. I haven't started this thing in like, I don't know, months, probably since before winter. So number one, we're going to just make sure that we can get the thing running as is before we tear it apart. So we're going to get everything wired up, start it up, get it running with the 6-volt points for now. Then we'll work on taking everything apart, putting the 12 volt Petronix setup in the distributor and get it to run on the 12 volt, which will be really awesome. And then we will be ready to start wiring up the ignition for for a final job. But we want to get this thing in little steps, and this will be a nice thing to get the ignition converted over to 12 volt. All right, let's hope my little 6-volt battery I haven't used since winter time is up to the task. Got it all cobbled together. Running system here. Got ignition. There we go. Lost prime in the pump probably. Alright, so that was step one. We got the thing running. I ended up running into, I still had the fuel filter that was in this little glass fuel bowl that came with the engine. We never cleaned it or took it out, so I think it actually was a little clogged, so we were having trouble getting, I was having trouble getting it started. Pulled it out, cleaned that up, and then just left it out for now. And it poured some in. I think also the fuel lines had a little bit of crap in them too, but it ended up pulling back through. We got it to run and idle, so it's okay. So I just wanted to get this thing running under its own power first before we dig in and change anything. So we just made sure that it's a good running engine, everything's okay on the fuel side, and now we're going to mess with taking apart the 6-volt side. So hopefully nothing should really change, and should just be swapping a couple parts. So I'm going to get all this stuff out of the way, and we're going to pop the cap open and then do this Petronix swap. Alright, so what comes with the Petronix conversion is like super simple. You got like a little magnetic pickup here that basically slides over the center. You take the rotor off, this slides over the center of the distributor, the shaft. You take out all your points and condenser stuff, and you put this in place of it basically, and then this is your pickup, and when it spins it will, this will actually fire off your ignition. So super simple in theory, but you know how this stuff goes. So this is it, and then we got our coil, of course, with a ballast resistor. So I'm going to pull off the original coil here and take the distributor cap off, and then we'll be on our way. So we're reusing the holes that were already there for the starter solenoid. Might as well just work with what they had. It's nice because it's close to the battery there, so we can, keeps the wiring pretty.
And it's right next to the starter too.
Yeah. Take this old coil off. That off. Okay, now we got a spare 6-volt coil in case I need to fire anything on the floor.
It's kind of nice to have, actually.
Yeah, known good.
Do you need instructions on how to install the coil?
I don't think so. Never know. Put coil on, don't mess up. Alright, so we got the coil off. Next step is here, pull the cap off. There we go. Improvised with a wrench. So with the Petronix, you have to pull all your point stuff out of there. Alright. So we can pull our rotor off. We will reuse that, which is like new. And then we can take our points and condenser out. Just gotta pull the wires off here. First screwdriver I grabbed, of course, is a monster.
You didn't have any bigger screwdrivers?
I know. That was the first one I grabbed. Gonna do it right. Totally unnecessary and actually too big here. Son of a... Yeah, for the install that might be a little nicer.
Yes.
I don't think I'm getting this off. Lazy / impatient. Alright, that'll do. Look at that. Screwdriver's probably the same vintage as the car. Alright, so there's that. Just gotta pull our wiring out here. The other side. Might be able to do that inside the car. Alright, so I had to fish the points and condenser out. I had to take the stud out of the side there, but there's all our bits we're taking out. We're going to hold on to these, obviously, in case we ever need them. Got a spare set here. So now we could start installing the good stuff. So this is the this is our pickup here, or whatever you want to call it. Electrical doodad. And you can see there's a little notch in it that lines up with the notch there in the distributor, and that hole there lines up, and then on the other side there's three holes, but the center hole lines up with the threaded hole from the condenser. So that's the way it's supposed to mount. Now the problem is there is now actually 2 wires we have to fish through instead of 1. They have to go through this where the stud was in the back on the factory one. So I know it's really hard to see, but that's what's going on, and now we're going to
try and fish him.
Finger bang our distributor.
Oh wow, you hit the hole too.
Man.
I'm sure this is much easier on a car that the distributor is not jammed
in the engine bay?
In the firewall.
I mean in the passenger compartment?
Yeah.
Ooh, there it is. I can see it. Just gotta weed it. This is probably the most frustrating thing I've done all day. Come on. There we go. Okay. Got 2 wires. Come through, and then there's a little grommet that will slide on at the end here. But we got our wires fished through. So now,
don't forget about the ground.
Yeah, you gotta make sure we put that ground back in. Get our distributor grounded. I have that probably fished and lost. Son of a... So here's our ground wire that we were talking about. You want to make sure from other people that are a lot smarter than me, I understand that this ground wire is extremely... Petronix is really funny, and you can burn up the Petronix with running the... not running the good grounds, or this ground connection being poor. So I sanded with some sandpaper underneath of the plate, breaker plate. And I dropped my screw. And yeah, so sanded underneath there so we make sure we had, you know, good connection. Snug that guy up there. We'll run our 2 screws through. Or sorry, 1 screw. We'll go through our ground wire.
There's a lot of hands in this very small spot.
Yeah. Alright, so that... Obviously we don't want to go He-Man tight, just snug. Alright, now we can fish our wires through. This is a little grommet that comes with it that we can now run from these wires.
So I guess that's the perks of having a removable firewall, huh?
Yeah, so you can work on your distributor in the car.
If we leave it loose, we can advance the timing while we're driving.
Yeah. So you have a little magnetic doodad that is the
Magic.
that's the name. Yeah, it's the sorcery. So you fit it over. You can see it's got ridges here, so you fit the little opening on this, and it's kind of scary because you don't want
plastic.
It's plastic. You don't want to break it, but you like firmly press that dogger over like that. It feels like it's seated. I don't pretend to know that like I've done this on a Y-block before, but
Looks like it lines up with the trigger pretty well.
yeah. I don't know if it's right there. I mean, they're all seems fine. Is that it?
Well,
Put the rotor on. Well, no, when it doesn't start.
yeah. At least we know it started before. Glad you did that.
Yeah, that was kind of my. There we go.
Looks like it fits.
Just back
We also
on.
have our ballast resistor, which we're gonna put
Right there.
there, run our wires in and out. Boom. Done.
Yeah, boom, done.
All right, so we're using this fancy Eastwood crimp set to bang out this wiring really quick. Then we can start it and see if Matt did a good job or not.
All right. Negative for our coil. Fancy Petronix coil. Now, Petronix doesn't, when you use their coil, they actually say that you don't need a ballast resistor. Don that built some flatheads for me on the T and on my coupe and stuff, he suggests with all the ones he's done that you do put one in because he had a rash of coils that were dying with no ballast resistor, Petronix coils, so it's just a extra level of security to do that. So
Ballast resistor is $10. The new coil is not cheap.
yeah, it's like $80. So here we are. So we're going to test all of our starter wiring here. We know it's probably fine, but test our solenoid, make sure it's working okay.
Matt pulled the battery out of his diesel truck.
Yeah, so I have this battery for like starting random engines and cars, and the T when we first got it, it was hard to turn over. We went to Walmart and got what, like literally the biggest battery they had.
Marine Deep Cycle,
Crazy high obnoxious battery, but it's really awesome for starting random stuff. So
900 cranking amps.
So we're using that currently just because. Let me just test our starter solenoid and wiring. Sounds good.
Nice.
That solenoid's like awfully loud.
It is. Chink, chomp, chink, chomp.
But it's working.
So I guess we'll hook up the power to the ignition and
See if it runs?
yeah.
Question mark?
Do you need me to work the throttle while you crank? Or will it just idle?
It should. I mean, since the bowl's full,
Should just fire.
should just fire. Should. Keyword.
Hold on a second, make sure it's
Oh, it sparked.
sparked. Ah, that's a good sign.
Oh shit! Wow!
Dude, that was
That
awesome.
started really easy.
Yeah.
Ignition and starter. Petronix is really that easy that even
Dude,
an idiot like me can do
That
it.
didn't even take half a crank and it lit right off.
That was awesome. Man, I haven't had something go smoothly in a really long time.
So, like 5 minutes before we went to start it, I said, wow, that was really easy. I'm surprised it's not 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, you just
Yep.
freaking jinxed us. Awesome.
Sweet.
Sweet. So now we got this all wired up. Basically, the reason that we just jumped everything is because we're just doing baby steps. I mean, with all these projects going on, I like to do little steps, projects we can get done in like an evening. So this was a good example. So now that we got all this kind of set up, now we can start running our wiring to the steering column for the switch on the column drop. We got a starter button in there. that we can hook up to actually make the wire to the solenoid. So that's all like super simple stuff. But now that we got past the like it runs and all that, we're doing really good. Probably one of the next things after we get all this stuff wired, we'll do a couple videos on wiring like a heater and looming all that stuff up, etc. Headlights, whatever. We're going to be putting that. We got a 3-carb intake at Carlisle or something a while ago, and we have some 3 Stromberg 97s that were rebuilt.
Hershey. Got it at Hershey.
Yeah, something like that. But we have an intake for this with 3 97s that were all rebuilt. So I got to get some like progressive linkage, but we didn't hook the gas pedal up because it kind of seemed stupid to make all the gas pedal stuff work on a carburetor we weren't going to keep. So we're going to get progressive linkage because it's basically a stock engine, so we don't need like straight linkage. But again, I didn't want to do everything in one shot. I wanted to kind of do it in steps, and that's why we did it that way. So yeah, so there's a quick little update on the 39 Forgotten Hot Rod. Super psyched, it runs.
Petronix is like the greatest thing ever.
That was amazing. I really, really thought I was going to mess that up. So yeah, so everything's good. It's in, it's working. We can just keep moving forward, and we'll hopefully be driving this thing soon. So thanks guys for watching. See you later.